This week, we did get the latest iteration of Deadpool. Deadpool #1, Cody Ziglar, well, I guess is the Marvel Comics funny guy writer now, with Roach Antonio on the book, taking over for Alyssa Wong. Deadpool, in theory, should be an A-list character, but they've done so much damage to the character over the years. It's going to take a lot of work to get him back to A-list, and this ain't it, Doc.
The last time a Deadpool book was good was Deadpool and Spider-Man. Honestly, his station in Marvel Comics has really declined, and it looks like, from reading this, it's going to keep declining.
And I don't even know what this version of Deadpool is. He still breaks the fourth wall, and I guess there's a joke or two here or there, but it feels way more like modern-day Spider-Man, to where he's kind of a sad sack loser that's really depressed that his girlfriend left him. Doesn't feel really like Deadpool.
This is a lot more sad sack, mopey, bitch-made Deadpool that we've been getting for a little while now. Deadpool's been kind of suffering ever since they gave him a daughter. I couldn't even figure out, because I've skipped the last couple volumes of Deadpool. I don't know what's going on.
Well, speaking of that, let's get into the book, because I do think that's one of the major issues, is when you jump into this thing, you will not know what's going on. You have no clue of what Deadpool is all about and what he's actually up to if you didn't read the Alyssa Wong stuff. And the crazy thing is they canceled the Alyssa Wong Deadpool not because she didn't have time or they wanted to take Deadpool in a different direction. They're going in the same direction. They canceled it because no one bought it, because no one liked it. Yet the entirety, basically, of what Cody Ziglar's Deadpool is tied to what Alyssa Wong was doing.
Like, I came into this and I'm looking at it going, what in the hell is the symbiote fucking...
Listen, that's
like dire wolf.
Everyone's got a symbiote now.
Yeah.
Fucking Black Widow's a symbiote. This guy's a symbiote. This guy's a symbiote. We got so many of them. And now Deadpool needs a symbiote dog sidekick that speaks and basically does almost everything for him.
I figured that maybe his, that daughter that he had from a couple of volumes ago had gotten turned into a dog and then got a symbiote. I mean, fucking Jubilee's kid got turned into a dragon. So fucked if I know in this in this X office. Look, let's be honest. Nobody read the Alyssa Wong book. Ostensibly, with the new #1, you would like to get more readers than you had on number 5 or 6 of the previous volume that got canceled for low sales. So guess what? You need to get those new readers actually caught up. If you just continue the story, we're going to be fucking lost on issue #1. And guess what? We're not coming back for issue 2.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's coming back for this thing. And it is very hard to get into. Of course, we do get some tropes that you would expect in a Deadpool book. I don't know if you knew this, Doc, but Deadpool, you can cut off his arms and legs. And eventually he'll get it back. At one point, he's trying to stop this guy. Actually, he's trying to rob him is what he's doing. They break into his house. He gets into the vault, and the guy is there. He's got a bag of money, and Deadpool's like, let's get our money. Daddy needs his stripper money or whatever. And then the guy jumps to a portal, because apparently he can create portals. And then Deadpool jumps through the portal after him, gets his legs cut off. But this is actually after he's already had his hand cut off. And then he jumps on the big dog to go running after him. And we get some dismemberment jokes that don't really land. Follow that Canadian Frenchman.
There's a bunch of jokes about French Canadians in this.
There's meta stuff to it, Doc. He says, if this was a live action set piece, this would be so expensive. 10 to 12 million easy.
I feel like that's a commentary on us being like, what do you mean? This is action. Don't you like action? That's what I thought you guys wanted.
I didn't take it personally, Doc.
No, I felt like that was what it was. I felt like it was a commentary on all the people that have laughed at the way that comic books have decided to add a television show budget to comic book stories. The story goes on and he loses his legs and he loses his arm, but then they're there.
That's when it gets weird, because he's got no legs and then he's got one arm, and the big giant symbiote dog thingy is chasing that guy down on a dirt bike or whatever. Maybe he's on a motorcycle. The guy creates another portal, and then Deadpool jumps off the dog, and at this point he has 4 functioning arms and legs. Now, I understand that Deadpool can actually regrow his limbs.
Yep.
There's a really good joke in the first Deadpool movie where he's got his baby hand, and it's absolutely hilarious because it's so weird, and he's doing all that stuff with him. But he actually can't regrow the arm and leg in 2 panels.
No, he really can't. This is starting to feel like the roided up version of Wolverine's. healing factor where he can get charred all the way down to his skeleton and grow back in like 3 pages. That's not how it works. And I feel
and the worst part is when you're reading the book, you get to this and you're like, whoa, I thought he was missing his leg.
Yes.
Did I missed something? And you go back and you end up reading a few pages over again to realize that you didn't miss shit.
And what's really stupid is like 2 pages later, he talks about needing to still regrow his arms and legs. Like 2 pages later, I'm like, he already did that. It's Schrodinger's fucking arms and leg. Depending on the panel is whether or not they still exist.
There's a lot of introspection where it's a monologue and stuff like that, where he's just talking about how sad he is that his girlfriend left him. But I mean, that's not Deadpool. The reason you like Deadpool is because he's so fucking weird. He doesn't react to things like a human. That's why when you read Uncanny X-Force, my bad, where you have the thing where Archangel's been taken out and he's laying down and he thinks he might be dying, and Deadpool is doing a very human act. He's feeding him, like, eat this, you need your strength or whatever. And then they pan back and he's cut his own arm off. Like Deadpool is feeding this guy his arm.
Yeah.
It works.
It works because
it's Deadpool. That's weird.
Yes, because he's doing the thing that would seem like a normal human action, and then you pan away to see how unhuman and inhuman it really is that what he's doing.
I hate to break it to Cody Ziglar or Alyssa Wong or whoever, but if Deadpool fell in love with a fellow mercenary that was a part of a mercenary group and they kicked him out and used him or whatever, he'd get some revenge, he'd eat a chimichanga, and he'd be on with his life.
Because that's who Deadpool is. He doesn't human very well. And Cody, we can very much tell that you don't human very well either.
His reaction would be the most extreme, inappropriate reaction that you would like to have to something, but you wouldn't allow yourself to do. Think outside the box, have a little bit of fucking fun with the character. That's why he's not good anymore. The one thing that happens in this comic book that I don't think is, not everything's terrible, but a lot of it's terrible. A lot of it's just kind of boring and not very good. But I do think the design, at least most of the design on this new villain that they introduced, he kind of looks like a druid, and he's got this mask. It's got all these markings and symbols on it. Although it does look like there's some type of, it's like a gas mask or something. I wish that wasn't part of the costume. I think it made it look less cool. But for the most part, I think the design of the character, and then he thinks he's killed Deadpool, and then Deadpool like throws a katana right through his back. He's like, wasn't expecting that. I kind of appreciate the villain. I think there's something there.
It's clear at the end of this issue that this new villain is part of some sort of a weird occult, that there's some sort of special meaning to all of those markings and symbols that are on them. And that's what this is looking like. And you know what? Maybe that'll be kind of cool, but I don't think I care enough to stick around because...
No, you stick around for Deadpool.
Yes, I stick around.
He's so thoroughly messed up Deadpool. At the end, he's like, I'm really glad I got my mind off all these women problems, princess. And he's talking to the stupid dog. And like, there's a couple weird points of dialogue with this new villain, which I think goes unmentioned. I don't think they name him. I think they might name the name of the cult or whatever. Where he's like, what can I learn from you? And then he realizes, well, I could learn like how you heal and how you didn't die. So now his sights are set on Deadpool, not because he sees him as a worthy adversary or he wants to kill him, but because he wants to learn from him, because he's demonstrated a power or an ability that he himself does not have. And I guess he's out there to kind of learn that. I guess he's got some acolytes around him that even offer to heal him up after what Deadpool did to him, and he declines. So apparently he's got the ability to heal if he wants to, probably lives forever.
But here's the thing. Deadpool's power is mutant. He can't learn mutant powers.
Well, he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that. But like that's why that this whole story is going to we already know how it ends because it's already told us what his motivation is and what he wants out of Deadpool. But
I think it's good to establish a motivation.
Normally, I agree, but when that motivation only has one potential outcome, which is, he gets beaten because he thinks that Deadpool's power is learned and he can't learn it. So, oops, I just wasted my entire, motivation and agenda and planning for something that I can't accomplish. Again, it removes all the stakes and all of the intrigue, anything that might have been interesting. He
can kill Deadpool for good. He's got magic.
Yeah, he can kill Deadpool for good, but he still can't learn the...
Well, I'm not here rooting for the villain, Doc. I'm rooting for Deadpool. All the stuff, the villain stuff, I find perfectly fine. He has a good look to him. He's got a motivation. He has something that he wants from Deadpool, whether he can get it from him or not. And there's a little bit of interesting stuff there, but he is a small portion of the end of the comic book itself. Most of the book and the narration and everything is about how Deadpool's life sucks, but Deadpool already knows that his life sucks. His life has always sucked.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the little section right before where Deadpool's sitting on the stoop after he didn't get his bounty, and he gets a phone call from some random broad, some random agent saying, hey, I'm starting another Merc group. We want you on it. He's like, I just got out of a Merc group. It didn't work out very well for me. And then immediately he goes, hey, I got a great idea. Let's start a Merc group. Oh,
that feels like Deadpool.
That feels like Deadpool, but it's like lowest common denominator Deadpool. It was just a generally bland comic book. It wasn't that offensive to me, but it just...
Nothing was offensive. That's the problem. It should offend you. It's fucking Deadpool.
Exactly. And it was just so bland. Like, it didn't offend me in a good way or a bad way. It was just bland.
Well, I think the big takeaway, Doc, is clearly Marvel sees something in Cody Ziglar, who's done work at Rick and Morty, the She-Hulk show. You know, he's done the Spider-Punk stuff. He's doing Miles Morales now. Now he's doing Deadpool. Miles Morales and Deadpool, as far as characters that make money outside of comic books, those are two of them that are worth some money, and he's on both of them. So clearly, Marvel editorial sees something in Cody Ziglar that I just don't see. I haven't seen it yet. There's been a couple of issues that Miles that weren't bad, but that's almost the best thing I can say about the guy at this point. There's been a lot of terrible.
I know exactly what they see in him. He's cheap and he does his work. That's it. He's a known commodity to them. Whether that known commodity is any good is irrelevant. It's easy and it's predictable.
Well, and I guess they think he's like their comedian guy now because, you know, he worked on Rick and Morty. And so they put him on all the characters that should be quippy or have funny elements to him.
Yeah, somebody tell me whenever actually he gets funny, because that ain't happened yet.
I'm definitely not recommending this book. Like I said, if you didn't read the Alyssa Wong Deadpool stuff, you will not know what's going on here. You won't be invested in any of this stuff. Teaming up Deadpool with the symbiote dog, quite frankly, stupid. Like, there's no reason for it. It doesn't add anything to the character other than him having a weird relationship with the symbiote that he thinks is his kid, and the symbiote thinks that he's his dad. But I don't find that endearing or interesting or funny or anything like that. It's just another symbiote that we don't need.
It's kind of creepy, kind of weird, really, really dumb, and very
I didn't find anything creepy about it. I just thought it was stupid.
Well, mostly it was creepy because I thought that was actually his daughter at first.
Well, I could see how that would be creepier, where he the soul of his daughter was in a dog that became a symbiote.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was creepy until, okay, and you clarified that it wasn't actually his daughter at all.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, well, in that case, then it's less creepy and more just fucking stupid. Don't read this book.
What do you expect? The Roger Antonio art,
fine.
I've seen better, but it's kind of average. There's nothing wrong with it. It does perfectly well for the most part, other than regrowing limbs between panels and stuff, which didn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. I would give this book 4.5 out of 10, 2.25 out of 5, something like that. Below average by a lot.
I give it 2 stars out of 10. Honestly, the Roger Antonio art was still kind of bland. It wasn't bad.
Not until the end when the villain shows up, then I kind of liked it.
Yeah. Other than that, it was incredibly forgettable for 19 out of 22 pages. So don't waste your money.
I do want to say thank you very much to Doc. If you would like the full review of this, as well as our full conversation regarding why women never showed up to support Marvel or DC, as well as have the ability to ask Doc and myself any question that you want and get a great answer. We'll answer all kinds of questions, whether it be comic books, history, life, love, relationships, all that good stuff. We got all the answers to that. Definitely go check out the Doc is Right tier on Thinking Critical Patreon. There's a link in the video description. And we've got more Doc than you could possibly ever imagine handling.